Right, as President Trump walks back tariffs on most products from Mexico and Canada again, Canada says retaliatory tariffs will stay in place until that pause is permanent. CNN's John King went to visit our northern neighbors as part of his All Over the Map series to hear what the Canadians think about the president and his tariffs.
This is American steel in Western Canada for custom finishes. One belt is to burn a few notches and drill a few holes. Another to weld some angled braces. Soon back on a rail car and back across the border for an office project in Alaska. It is a partnership that supports 100 jobs here at AI Industries in Surrey, British Columbia. This just one piece of nearly $800 billion a year in trade between the United States and Canada. Now, though, a partnership in peril because of President Trump's insistence on new tariffs.
He wants to show that U.S. is strong, and because I'm bigger than you are, I can bully you around, and this is how I'm going to do it.
Trump paused the tariffs Thursday, just 2 days after imposing them. Another about-face. Yes, Walji prefers no tariffs, but he says weeks of threats and contradictions from Trump make it impossible to plan and are already hurting both economies.
Even with the threat of tariffs, prices have gone through the roof and they've gone higher. So we're seeing right now, when we're bidding a job today versus we're bidding it 3 months ago, our cost has gone up almost 15%.
British Columbia is a living postcard. Scenic mountains and gorgeous waters. The importance of trade is everywhere you look. Canadian lumber waiting at river's edge. Rail cars to carry Canadian crude oil, crops, and more. The bustling Pacific Rim port of Vancouver.
You'll watch it for 8 hours. You'll see on average we've got 10 ships arriving and 10 ships leaving. We did about 160 million tons of cargo last year. 75% of that is those bulk commodities, grain, coal, potash, sulfur, and other agricultural products outbound.
Peter Exotta is the port CEO. He says shippers who normally plan 6 or 9 months out are now taking things a few weeks at a time because Trump is so unpredictable. And he says Trump's threats and his tone leave Canada no choice but to find new markets, new partners.
It's been a wake-up call, right? It's been a wake-up call for Canadians that we need to figure out a way to not be as dependent.
This rift goes beyond what Canadians see as Trump's bad math. They are furious at his bad manners, his constant insults, calling Canada the 51st state and its prime minister governor.
We've been in this together for a long time. We fought wars together. We went to Afghanistan. We did all this stuff together. Why? What are you doing here?
Darrell Lamb is the brand manager at Legacy Liquors. Yes, this too is a front in the new trade war.
There's Yellow Rose right there from Texas right there.
So, is it popular?
It is.
And if this goes into effect, you can't sell this?
It'll be off the shelf.
It's gone. Tito's Vodka too, also from Texas.
Diagram of a trade war?
The Premier of British Columbia says if Trump imposes tariffs, he will ban sales of alcohol from states that Trump won that also have a Republican governor.
We've gone through this before with the Russian invasion of Ukraine. We were asked to remove all Russian products from our shelves.
Lamb says some customers rushed to stockpile American favorites, but others want all American products off the shelves.
So mad at Trump for what he's saying about Canada that they're saying, get it out of here.
No, 100%. Absolutely. I'm just worried about this eternal relationship that we've had for 200 plus years being soured for 4.
Vikram Vinayak is a short-haul truck driver, carrying berries destined for the United States on this run.
What are other loads that are pretty typical?
Nursery, trees, auto parts, and produce. Sometimes we pick frozen fish.
How much of your work or products that you know are going to end up in the United States?
More than 80-90% of our loads are going to U.S.
As many as 5 runs a day, 40 to 50 hours a week. But tariffs will cut shipments to the United States and cut Vinayak's hours.
You have a wife and 2 daughters?
Yes.
And so what does that mean about planning? Thinking maybe we won't make a vacation or maybe we won't buy something? What is it?
No, just planning is nothing. The main thing is how to get out of this situation by finding another job.
Does that make you mad? You might have to find another job. Do you like this job?
Yeah, I love this job.
One of many jobs now at risk because of a U.S.-Canada relationship Trump just shifted into reverse. John King, CNN. Surrey, British Columbia.
A whiplash in trade policy here at the White House has sent the stock market reeling for the last several days. President Trump adjusting course on the Canada and Mexico tariffs specifically, offering on Thursday yet another month-long reprieve, a day after he offered automakers a similar reprieve. Now, there is no question the financial markets have been wondering what exactly this White House is up to as the stocks have fallen, the dollar has weakened, and there's been an inconsistent pattern across many of these decisions. But the president on Thursday insisting the market had nothing to do with it.
No, nothing to do with the market. I'm not even looking at the market because long term, the United States will be very strong with what's happening here.
Of course, that is very much an open question. The president has long used the stock market and the financial markets as a whole as a metric for how he guides his success. He certainly did so during the first term in office, and he has throughout the course of much of his life. But there is no doubt the president is also still in favor of imposing some type of tariffs. He believes, and he said again Thursday at the White House, the United States is being ripped off, in his words, by some of these countries. He's also insisting that reciprocal tariffs will go into effect on April 2nd, and that would really cover the gamut of goods from autos to alcohol to so many other things, and not just Canada and Mexico. It's all reciprocal tariffs any country the United States does business with. So the bottom line to all of this, the questions here now is the president has delivered a series of threats over tariffs, but taken many of them back. Is he serious about the next round? Of course, we'll have to wait and see on that as the markets still wonder what this White House is up to. Jeff Zeleny, CNN, the White House.
And President Trump's latest trade move applies to goods covered by the existing free trade deal between the three nations. That's the U.S., Mexico, and Canada agreement. It was proposed by President Trump during his first term and officially replaced the North American Free Trade Agreement in 2020. Now, amid the tariff threats, the leaders of Mexico and Canada have been in talks with Trump.
I can confirm that it was a colorful call. I've been having conversations and working with Donald for over 8 years now, and a lot of it is rolling with it.
So I said to him, we are getting results. President Trump, now that you put in the tariffs, how are we going to continue cooperating and collaborating with something that hurts the people of Mexico?
Meanwhile, the president has been imposing fresh tariffs on China while expressing hope of building good relations. But now, China says that such a, quote, two-faced approach would fail. On Friday, Beijing warned against world powers prioritizing their own interests.
There are more than 190 countries in the world. Should everyone stress my country first and obsess over a position of strength, the law of the jungle would reign again. Smaller and weaker countries would bear the brunt first, and international norms and order would take a body blow.
For more now, let me welcome in Kadia Goba in Washington. She is a politics reporter for Semaphore. Kadia, great to have you this morning. So far in the president's term, we haven't seen a lot of public GOP dissent on Trump's plans, but on this issue of tariffs, you are hearing GOP leaders raise concerns. Listen.
Almost every industry in Kentucky has come to me and said it will hurt our industry and push up prices of homes, cars, and so I'm going to continue to argue against tariffs.
Should he back off of it if it starts to hurt the constituents?
When we start losing, you back off. You know, there's such a thing as a strategic retreat. At the end of the day, I think we have more leverage than any other nation, but we got to be smart, and we don't have all the leverage.
So, Kadia, what do we know about the why of it all? I mean, is this a strategic retreat, or what's the strategy here?
So this isn't new. My colleagues and I have reported this out before the president took office. There were major concerns about tariffs, whether lawmakers said it openly or just talked about him using it just as a threat or a form of negotiation. Now we see it being more openly, them being more openly criticizing the president. And it's because, one, I would say his polling is not looking great, but also some of these tariffs are impacting lawmakers' constituents already, and they have to receive the phone calls from their constituents.
Yeah, and just staying on the issue of the economy, in about 3.5 hours, a little less than 3.5 hours, we get the latest jobs numbers. It's the first one under his presidency. Now, Khadija, it might be too early to see the impact from the DOGE cuts in this report, but how does Trump play this today? I mean, if you come out and you celebrate these strong numbers today, you might be forced to own them next month if they're lower because of DOGE or concerns about tariffs, and they start to show up in the data. So how does he play this later today?
Yeah, this was very, it's interesting how this will play out. I'm not really clear. I had the same question during the joint address the other day. When you come to Washington, D.C., and you talk to members of Congress who have constituents and who, excuse me, and who talk about, and you talk about all the layoffs that you have, especially for members representing Virginia and Maryland. How does that look on television when they're cheering? It's not a great situation. And I would imagine the markets are even going to dictate some of the decisions coming out of the White House.